Hello, my friend. Today is going to be a strange episode. It's hard to call this a useful tip, but I accidentally found an incredible bug in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Whether you use it or not is up to you. I'm sure it wasn't planned that way, and it will be fixed in the future. But the bug itself is interesting, so I decided to show it to you. Approximately in the middle of the game, when the fight with Faust takes place, there are a lot of enemies running around. If you kill one of them and leave the other alive, he will take everything his friend had in his backpack. This loot is different from what you, as a player, can get. I'll show you an example near the S.T.A.L.K.E.R base after successfully defending it. As you can see, I have killed one enemy. Now I need to run away so far that the red bar on my compass turns to green. In other words, the enemy loses sight of you. I run back to the exit until the red threat bar goes down. After that, I go back and watch the second enemy I left alive from afar. For this I use a sniper rifle. The optics allow me to see everything much better. To get a better view of what's going on, I'm going to run closer to the gate. The main thing is not to cross the line when the NPC notices you and starts shooting. And there are very interesting things happening there. First, you can see that the enemy has entered the building. He is still looking for me. To see better, I zoomed in on the video. Unfortunately, you can't do that in the game, but it's still better to see in the game than in the video. Watch carefully. After a while, the enemy comes out of the building. He approaches the NPC I killed and leans towards him. The stone wall doesn't allow us to see it clearly, but he takes the loot from the dead comrade. Now we have to wait until the living NPC gets up. This will mean that he has taken everything he found. It's our turn to act. We run to him and kill him. Immediately, we look at what the NPC's backpack hides, and here I find a very strange thing. Really very strange. It's a huge loaf. At first, I thought it was just food, but when I hovered over the object, it became clear that it was a suit. Yes, it's a suit worn by the enemy. Why does it look like a loaf? Probably because the developers were too lazy to make a normal image for this item. Moreover, you can see the name of this suit. This is clearly some kind of file that was not supposed to fall into the hands of the player. Next, you need to restart the location in order for the NPCs to respawn. To get an unlimited amount of money, you need to find 2 of these costumes that look like a loaf. To restart the location, you need to sleep at least 4 times. I put the first loaf-shaped costume in my cache. By the way, its characteristics are even better than the one I'm wearing now. But it has only 2 cells for artifacts, and we don't know what will happen to these strange suits in the future. What if they disappear along with my artifacts? So I decide not to wear this NPC costume. Interestingly, it can already be sold for about 7,000 game currency. But if you get another costume of the same type, you can buy back any amount of money from the merchant. I seriously doubt that the developers of this game will watch my channel, but I hope that somehow it will spread and they will fix this bug. I really don't like using various bugs in the game, as well as installing additional programs that make the game easier. I've always liked to play a product as its developers presented it to the player. Of course, this does not apply to situations where a problem or bug cannot be solved in the game in an adequate way, as it was in the quest Get to Sawmill. There, the game was broken, the doors wouldn't open, I couldn't meet the S.T.A.L.K.E.R character and continue the game. I had to look for a solution to this problem. I even made a separate video on my channel about this situation and how to solve it. The link should now appear in the upper right corner. I will also leave a link to this video in the description. While I'm telling you about my experience in the game, you can see me getting a second costume in the form of a loaf. Interestingly, the weather changed dramatically. It was raining, and the NPCs hid from the rain in a building. I had to run inside and lure them out. Only now can I run outside the location again, so that the NPCs don't lose me and run after me. The situation is similar to how I showed it the first time. Everything should be repeated in the same way. The only thing I can say is that this costume in the form of a loaf does not always drop out. Sometimes you can pick up the same costume, but invisible. It takes up space in the inventory, but it has no image at all. My video looks better and clearer with the loaf. You should get the idea. I pick up my second costume, and I keep wondering how such a bug could be allowed in the game. Why do NPCs take loot from each other, and why is there such an opportunity to take items for yourself? I have a lot of questions. The more I realize how many bugs and errors there are in the game, the less I really want to play it. Although at first, it seemed amazing. Now it's my turn to show you how you can get unlimited money with these two suits in the form of a loaf. You come to any merchant, in my case it's Warlock, so you don't have to run far. You put this costume up for sale, but be sure to put one costume, not both. I use the slider to reduce the number and press the E button to confirm. Strange things continue to happen. In my inventory, the costume looks like a loaf, but if you move it to the seller's inventory, it becomes invisible. We make sure that one suit remains in our inventory and press F to sell the suit for 7,000 coupons. And then another miracle happens. The trading window doesn't understand what you've sold, so the F button is active again. Now you just need to press it many times in a row. For each click, you will receive 7,000 coupons. I don't know if there is any limit to the amount of game currency a player can receive. It seems that there is usually a certain amount, after which the entire amount of money turns to zero. I was really tired of looking for the threshold of the maximum amount, although I was very curious. I collected 10 million game currency and closed the window. I left everything as it is for now, with separate saves. I'll have a night to think about what to do with it. What do you think is better? Keep the money, or download the preload and play without such a crazy money premium? I'm leaning towards the latter option, because I believe that this way you can make absolutely everything easier. You can make infinite health, the best weapons, or a stamina scale that won't decrease. But then what's the point of the game? Why play if you get everything just by pressing a few keys? I've never understood this. That's why my video is only to raise awareness of the game's problems, so that this thing can be removed as soon as possible. But I emphasize that if you decide to use this money, I will understand you, because the economy in the game is really terrible and distracts from the gameplay. Well, that's all for now. If you are interested, please like and subscribe to the channel. I also recommend watching my previous video where I talk about the artifacts that can be found in the Lesser Zone. See you soon, my friend.